Welcome to Hightower High School. We're sorry for the delay. We had technical problems. We're joining the game with 5:45 to go in the second quarter. The score, Quincy 18, Lincoln 8. Jerry will fill him in as we get a chance. Let's go right at it.
All right, Duff brings the ball across the timeline now with 5:39 left in the first half, and the score 18-8, as Mike said, in favor of Quincy. It's been a game of mistakes as far as Lincoln's concerned so far. They've had more turnovers than we expected them to have, and they haven't been penetrating very well. This is the first shot that I can recall Duff taking from the outside. Gets his own rebound. Quincy is some kind of basketball team. This game started out with Lincoln ahead 4-2. Then it was 6-4. Lincoln got stuck, and Quincy ran it 18-6. Now it's 20-8. Quincy, Duff over the timeline.
Jerry, Lincoln coach said he was going to slow it down. He tried that in the beginning, but he can't slow down when he's behind 28. He's got to play ball now.
Lorenze misses from 20 feet. Very husky young man, Dennis Douglas, brings the ball up. He is a real horse that handles the ball well. Underneath, Payne to Scott Allen, and we've got a foul. Got an offensive foul on Quincy. That'll be the inbounds ball by Lincoln. 4:42 left in the first half. 20 Quincy, 8 Lincoln, and Duff strolls the ball up over the timeline. Lincoln is just about going to have to come out of their game plan pretty soon if this keeps up. Lorenze, Wallace back to Lorenze. Very tough zone defense by Quincy. Really strong defensive game so far on Quincy's part. Lorenze from 20 feet, bang! 20-10. They're halfway home now. Douglas inbounds the ball against the full court press to Payne, an exceptionally smooth player, 6 foot 10 inches tall. That's off of Lincoln. It'll be Quincy's ball out of bounds.
Jerry, Lincoln has had only one lead at 2-0 from there on. Quincy pulled up 6-2 and was ahead at the end of the first quarter, 12-6. They started out the second half, opening that lead some more.
Offensive rebound strong by Dennis Douglas. He has 6 points in the game so far. 8 points for Bruce Douglas. The Douglas boys have got 14 of the 22 points for Quincy. Duff over to Lorenze, who penetrates and off the glass, but we got a foul underneath. I think the foul is on Payne, number 41 from Quincy. Jerry Liggett's been working on the officials from Lincoln pretty hard in the last 2 minutes.
That's Payne's second foul. The 6'10" All-Stater cannot afford to do what he did the other night. The other night he picked up fouls early and they pulled him even though they won by 36.
Well, he appears to be awfully smooth offensively. Defensively, he takes up a lot of room under that basket. He has pretty well dominated Paul Kendrick so far. Kendrick has tried to shoot over him. 22-12. Now Lincoln is finally getting into the flow of the basketball game, Mike. There's a steal by Werner. 22-14. With 3 minutes and a half left in the first half. And that brings the green side of the floor alive. This is a physical game out here. We've got players pushing and shoving a little bit, particularly at midcourt on that particular play. And a foul.
That's Duff's second foul already.
Duff is going to have to control this ball for Lincoln. He's given the ball up twice in the first half, 2 times by an opinion, trying to overplay the ball. Once when he was called for an offensive foul for jumping into a player, and I hate to key on a kid like Duff, but he's so very important to this Lincoln basketball team. But another time he had a shot, and instead of taking the shot, he tried to draw the foul. Dennis Douglas misses the first of 1-1, and Quincy is now shooting the bonus. Lincoln is not yet in the bonus. Duff brings the ball up over the top. Kendrick Duff, back out to Lorenze, looking for Wallace in the corner. Lorenze from 22 feet, off the iron. That'll be Quincy's ball out of bounds. Ron Grissom and Hightower refereeing tonight's ball game. It's an exceptional job for the whole tournament.
Because of the technical difficulties, we would like to welcome you fans that are watching as well as our Decatur fans from the Quincy and the Lincoln table system.
Double dribble now. That's not a double dribble, it's a discontinued dribble. He had the ball dribble it. You can dribble, fumble, dribble, but you can't fumble, dribble, fumble. Well, I beg your pardon. You can fumble, dribble, fumble, but you can't dribble, fumble, dribble, and that's what happened in that play. Duff now over the line. 2 minutes, 47 seconds left. 22-14. Wallace off the iron. back out to Duff. Instead of coming down with the ball, there wasn't a Lincoln player around. Wallace, Lorenze, bang, 22-16. And all of a sudden, Lincoln is getting back in this basketball game. Quincy had it all their own way in the first quarter. The score actually didn't reflect how much Quincy dominated this ball game in the first quarter, Mike. It was 12-6 at the end of the quarter, but it was totally dominated.
Well, they missed
Quincy. Bruce Douglas missed 10th point of the basketball game.
They missed a few bunnies right off the bat.
Quincy.
Right off the bat, they missed a few bunnies. Payne missed a slam dunk, which he should have had on a fast break, and so the score, you're right, was a lot higher. Here we go out quickly again. Quincy wants to run this ball. That's all there is to it.
Douglas. Bruce Douglas. He's hot. That's 12 points in the first half for Douglas. 1:45 left in the first half. 26-16, a 10-point spread now for Quincy. Quincy is a fine basketball team, but Lincoln's going to make a game of this. Wallace from 20, 26-18. Jeff Wallace with his first field goal of the evening. That's inbound. That'll be inbounds now by Quincy. It's off Lincoln.
Well, the Lincoln game plan, according to Coach Wallace, was he wanted to slow it down. He came out with the slowdown right off the bat. Didn't work. Now he's forced into running, and he's doing probably going to close the gap quicker this way.
Well, they're playing a lot better now since they've made that adjustment. Douglas, what a horse this kid is, this Dennis Douglas. He looked like he'd be a defensive tackle, and he handles the ball like he's a 5'7" guard.
And he's only a
His
sophomore.
brother Bruce Douglas, who's a junior. Somebody blew a whistle in the fence. There's a whistle in this gymnasium, and it almost stopped play.
I've heard
Some fans got a whistle. 28-18. Again, the 10-point spread. In the middle. That's the first time he's scored from there. He's been on the side for his first two baskets. 6 points now for Paul Kendrick. Payne is doing a pretty good job on him. Dennis Douglas brings the ball down. Bruce Douglas, first time he's missed that I can recall. First time he shot from that close in. Duff again with 37 seconds left in the half. 28-20 Lincoln, and an opportunity to take it back to 6 and make it a basketball game. Because I'll tell you what, Mike, for a while it looked like Quincy was going to run off and hide.
This is exactly what they did on their game the other night. They got way ahead and just ran right out, 20-point half lead and nothing flat.
Well, they're going to play for one shot now, down to 15 seconds. They have to penetrate, and they're doing that by throwing the ball into number 43, Todd Lorenze. That takes the 10-second count off. Duff penetrates to the baseline. Cross-court pass. 43 Lorenze, bam! 28-22. And what looked like was going to be a rout has now turned into a basketball game. At halftime, we're going to have an interview with Marv Schlosser, the coordinator of physical education, athletics, and safety.
Okay, we'll be right back after a brief message with halftime stats and try to fill you in on where we're at. The first half started out as if Quincy was going to blow Lincoln right out of the gym. All of a sudden, Lincoln got out of their slow down game, came back into their running game, and they've closed the gap to 6 at halftime. For you fans in Lincoln and Quincy, we do welcome you. This is a GE Cablevision, Decatur GE Cablevision production. Jim Dugan is the producer tonight, and Chris Rollins is the director. We'll be bringing you the second half. We'll go right through the stats real quick. For Lincoln, Duff had 1 basket for 2. Wallace 1 basket for 2 points. Stan Werner had 6 points. Kendrick 6 points, and Todd Lorenze 6. For Quincy, Scott Allen did not score. Bruce Douglas had a hot hand with 12 points. Michael Payne held to 4 points by the tough Lincoln defense. And Dennis Douglas, the big 6'4" sophomore, had 8 points. Total 28-20 at halftime. We'll be back with an interview with Marv Schlosser of the Decatur Public School System after this brief message. We'll take it down to the floor to Jerry Manns right now.
All right, we're at halftime now, and our halftime guest is Marv Schlosser, the coordinator of physical education, athletics, and safety for District 61. Marv, a lot of things have been happening in the last 3 weeks here in Decatur. Tonight's focus is on this basketball game, but what else has been going on?
Yes, Jerry, we've had an interesting experience here in Decatur. Last week we started out with with the regional at Stephen Decatur High School. We went Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday there. Then Monday, we moved over to MacArthur High School, and we were hosts for the girls' regional basketball. And the championship of the girls' regional basketball was last night, and now tonight we're finishing up this exciting sectional right here at Eisenhower High School. So it's been a great 2 weeks of basketball here in Decatur.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation, Marvin, in the last couple of weeks that this particular basketball game, as it was predicted would happen with Lincoln and Quincy meeting for the championship of the sectional, that we could probably fill Milliken at least, or maybe the Assembly Hall.
I can keep the running score, I think. Go ahead and take that.
They are rated the number 1 and number 2 teams in the state now that the other Simeon got beat. Did you make any efforts to put this ball game where it would hold more people?
We sure did, Jerry. We recognize the intense interest in this ball game, and as you know, we have a good working relationship with Milliken University. We contacted Merle Chapman, the athletic director there, and unfortunately, they had another event going on there on their campus, so it was impossible to move it to Milliken. So what we did is we did some exploring on closed circuit TV, and we struck out in that area, and so we called the state.
You hear me, Jim?
Received a waiver from the state, and this is only the first time that this has been done. There's 3 other spots in the state that are doing the same kind of thing, and this cable TV will be permitted to go on 1 hour after the completion of the ball game. Normally, there's a 24-hour wait before they can rebroadcast. So we appreciated that waiver from the state.
I wonder, speaking of the state, Marv, what does having a sectional like this mean money-wise? I know the IHSA probably gets the biggest bite out of the apple, but does it mean anything to District 61 as far as we're having some problems now monetary? They're talking about cutbacks in programs and things. What does this mean as far as the good old Bucks are concerned as far as District 61?
Well, Jerry, the Bucks certainly are important to us, but number one, having this tournament in Decatur gives our fans and our students an opportunity to be right here at home. We don't have to travel somewhere else to play. We get to enjoy the game right here in our community. Now, there's not as much monetary return in a tournament of this kind as you might think. For example, on the regional, we received only 40% of the first $5,000 and 25% of the extra, and we have to pay all of our expenses out of that fund. On the sectional, we received 30% of the first $4,000 and then 25% of the amount over that. So the majority of the money does go back to the IHSA to sponsor that comprehensive program that they have for both girls and boys, where they sponsor state tournament series.
Well, but some of it might filter into the PE program here or the athletic program here in Decatur. Is that not true?
Oh, very definitely, yes. We will get some amount from both tournaments, you betcha.
We've got about 15 kids playing out here and 2 referees and a whole bunch of fans.
Jerry, we got to get out of here.
Things as far as District 61
yes, sir.
that you're involved in. What other people are affected by this kind of a program?
Yes.
Here?
Well, this is one of the things that's really important, Jerry, when we talk about basketball.
We're not going to take a break?
Just those boys are out on the floor.
I got you. You better be doing it. We're at 4 minutes now.
We not only think about the boys that are out on the floor.
Can you tell her
we think about the managers that work with the team. We think about the cheerleaders that cheer the team on. We think about a group of pom-pom girls that might be 25 to 30, plus the halftime entertainment from various PE activities.
Well, we've got a heck of a basketball game. We're going to have to get back to it. I thank you very much for coming on, Mr. Saucer, and we appreciate your allowing us to come in here and have this television show tonight.
We're pleased to have you, Jerry, and we're going to see an exciting finish this ball game, I'm sure.
I certainly hope so. Now back up to Mike Weaver up in the booth. Thanks, Marvin. We'll see you later, bud.
Okay, we're back. Shooting percentages for the first half. Lincoln Rail Splitters, 28-0 for the year. Number 2 ranked team in the state, shot .478 in the first half. The Quincy Blue Devils, 28-0, number 1 in the state of Illinois, shot .538. Both teams shot well after a slow start. The story of the first half, 6-point difference, 28-22, was Lincoln holding Michael Payne to 4 points, and the Quincy turnovers early in the game when they could have jumped off even larger than the 10-point lead that they had. Jerry, you're back now. The shooting percentages are a little surprising considering the score. 53 for almost 54 for Quincy and 47 for Lincoln.
Well, I'm surprised, Mike, that the turnovers that I saw in the first half before Lincoln changed its game plan. I'm not sure they changed the game plan that much, but they have certainly loosened up. They were a little tentative when they came out. They tried to control the ball game, and quite frankly, Quincy didn't let them control the
basketball game. They dictated how the first, maybe 10 minutes of this ball game were played, and then Lincoln kind of turned it around. They were down 16-18 to 6. Now it's 28 to 22. And if this continues, we're in for an exciting finish. Well, I'll tell you what, Quincy might be number one. Since Simeon got beat, I'm sure
Lincoln is definitely number two.
There's a couple kids in this basketball game that can determine the winner. They're in green uniforms tonight as well as in blue.
Okay, we'll be back after this brief message with some more. Okay, we're back. This is Mike Weaver with Jerry Mans bringing you the game from Eisenhower High School. Sectional final, 1981. Winner advancing to the normal super sectional to verse either Joliet Catholic or Kankakee Westview. Jerry, earlier today, we had the number 1 and number 2 small teams play. Upset there, even though you can't call it an upset because both teams are great teams. We got 2 great teams here. A lot of people think the winner of this game is going to be the state champ.
Well, this is a kick in the head having this basketball game in Decatur. Sometimes the luck of the draw dictates this kind of a situation happening. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that these are the best 2 teams in the state, as near as anyone can possibly tell. They have played all through the week like state champions. This Blue Devil team is awesome. The Payne kid can dominate the ballgame inside. So far, the difference has been Bruce Douglas, the 6'3" junior guard, averaging 21 points a game, and his brother, 6'4" sophomore, 12 points a game, Dennis Douglas. But I tell you what, I really think that this kid Duff can turn this thing around with Werner and Kendrick and Lorenze. I wouldn't guess who's going to win this basketball game. 15 minutes ago, I would have thought Quincy was going to run him right out of the gymnasium. But they stopped that, and they turned it around. So from now on, Mike, who knows?
Well, they stopped Payne in the first half, and I think Coach Wallace would probably be very, very pleased if he would have known before the game that Payne would have only 4 at halftime. But the thing he hasn't done is stop the Douglas brothers.
Well, tell you what, when you put this kind of zone defense, this kind of press defense on a team, a lot of the game is dictated on how they handle the press. And in the second quarter, Lincoln handled the press much better. Douglas breaks off the thing. Hawkins for the easy bunny, and we jump 30-22 Quincy. That took 3 seconds for the first basket by Quincy in the second half. Duff brings the ball across the timeline. Light green uniforms, and they're home. The dark blue for Quincy. Wallace from the top of the key. Bang! 30-24. Now that's where Wallace scored earlier in the week from. In the first quarter, he was shooting from the wing. Now he's shooting from out in front where he's maybe more effective. Is this kid big to be bringing the ball up the floor?
And he's only a sophomore on top of that.
He's a horse. Payne on the wing. Inside to Allen. And a bunny. Douglas. Dennis type Douglas. Scores his 10th point of the basketball game.
I would think Quincy's future is pretty secure. They've got 3 underclassmen on the floor starting for the number 1 team.
That's right. And a 6'10" senior, who I understand is going to Iowa. The Notre Dame candidate, Duff, from 20 feet. His second basket of the evening. 32-26 with 6:55 left. There's Duff again on the floor. If Lincoln's going to win, Duff's going to have to stay on his feet because they need him to put the ball in the basket.
Nice pass.
Oh, he missed the bunny. But the big Douglas kid, Dennis type, puts it in. Offensive rebound. Boy, does he take up a lot of room. His brother seems to shoot. Bruce seems to shoot a little better from out. But Dennis is awesome inside. And he is a real compliment to Payne.
He looks like he plays a lot older than a sophomore.
Well, he looks a lot older. He looks like a man. Wallace back to Duff, and they're starting over. Lorenze in the corner. Back to Duff and back around to Wallace. A 1-2-2 zone defense by Quincy. And now it's a 1-3-1. It slides back and forth. Those kind of zone defenses are what you want to call them. There's a mistake by Wallace. But I believe it was Hawkins who hit his leg on that sports writers table over there a little bit. Couldn't quite handle it. Duff will in-ball the bounce for Lincoln. In-ball the bounce. That's good. Good sportsmanship shown by the Lincoln fans when the Hawkins kid got up. Lorenze from 15 feet. Off the iron, and Payne jumped right out of the gym. Bruce Douglas down the floor. Scott. Bruce Douglas out of bounds. Good save. Back to Hawkins. These kids can play. They're not only physical, big, but they can shoot. Dennis Douglas, his third basket in the last 2.5 minutes. minute and a half. 5:30 left in the third quarter. 36-26. The spread seems to stay at 10, Mike. Werner from the corner. Bang! 36-28, and Lincoln answers.
The closest Lincoln's got since the opening has been 6. Every time they do, Quincy pulls back up to 10.
This, as long as Lincoln can stay in this 8-10-point range, when they hit the spurt that's inevitable in basketball, we're going to have a very close basketball game. Good hustle, but it's a good thing he didn't save it, because he would have given Quincy an easy hoop. Werner gave it a real good hustle down there. I think he dislodged his glasses a little bit. It's a little strange to see a kid play with horn-rimmed glasses. Most of them wear contact lenses today. Bruce Douglas has missed his last 2 shots. Good block by Wallace, and we got a foul called on Wallace. That'll put Bruce Douglas on the line for 2 shots. Hightower, the official underneath, called the foul.
The first foul called in the second half. The referees are letting him play.
Oh, you got to let these kids play. They're too good. You go calling ticky-tacky fouls in this game, you'd louse it up. These kids are, most all of them, potential college basketball players. An awful lot of scholarships are on the floor tonight. Hawkins misses his first. 36-28, 8 points for Quincy. And he misses his second.
We haven't had a free throw made by either team yet.
That's unusual for this caliber basketball team. Lorenze from the corner. Bang! 36-30, a 6-point difference, the closest Lincoln's been since the opening minutes of the ball game. Wallace fakes a fall on the floor. These guys aren't going to call that fall down. They didn't call it earlier in the week, and they're not going to call it tonight. Payne underneath. That happened in the first quarter. Dennis Douglas, his 8th point of the second half. This second half has been all Douglas. Richie Hawkins has scored 1 field goal, and Dennis Douglas has scored all the other points. We're going to have a timeout now, Lincoln. 38-30 Quincy with 4:17 left in the third quarter.
Okay, we'll be back with more action. 38-30, 4:17 to go right after this message. We're back. 4:17 to go, third quarter, 38-30 Quincy. For you fans in Decatur, and also maybe some of you fans in Quincy or Lincoln might be interested, the AAU Downstate Championship will take place Saturday and Sunday at Mount Zion High School. If you want to see some outstanding ex-college players, come on out to Mount Zion High School at any time after 10 on Saturday and at noon on Sunday. Some of the players, the example is Neil Bresnahan, Levi Cobb, Bobby Hummels, etc., a whole group. Jerry, this last 4 minutes could decide how the fourth quarter will be played.
You betcha. Lincoln's going to inbound the ball now, and Duff takes charge. Kendrick's having a rough time with Payne inside. It's really tough to play against a kid that's 5 inches taller than you, particularly when he's as good a basketball player as Payne is. Now Payne has switched out, and Douglas is taking him underneath. Off.
I tell you what, 2 years from now, Dennis Douglas is going to be as heavily recruited as Payne and Duff, because he is a good one.
Yeah, all these kids are good. Oh, that's a tough break for Quincy. Easy basket, and the kid, I don't know, he must have taken his eye off the ball, or the pass must have been a little off. 3:47 to go. 38 Quincy, 30 Lincoln, and Lincoln needs to convert to keep this game close. Duff across the timeline. Wallace in the corner. Outside Lorenze. Bang!
That's what Duff does so well, Jerry. A lot of people don't know. He's not the big scorer. He's the feeder.
Hawkins going to bring the ball up the floor with Dennis Douglas. Isn't it really something? Here's Bruce Douglas. He passes off to Allen. Kendrick took a fake fall again, and we've got a jump ball. I don't understand why these kids are falling on the floor. You got to be on your feet to score in this game and play defense. By now, it's obvious that they're not going to call that. I won't mention it again, but they need to stay up. This Quincy is a fine basketball team. There's an offensive foul. Excellent call. Now the difference there is he got hit. Dennis Douglas' second foul, a player control foul. Hit him right in the chest. It takes the basket away from from Quincy and gives Lincoln the ball on the free throw line extended. Anytime you see him take the ball out to the side like that, that's a signal to the scorer that the basket does not count.
He shoved him, there was no doubt about it.
Lorenze in the corner, looking to penetrate. They've got to shoot outside. Duff scores. 38-34 and a 4-point spread in this basketball game. And the green on the far side of the gymnasium is really alive now. The second half has been all Dennis Douglas. The first half was all Bruce Douglas. It's the Douglas boys. Payne in the corner.
Another nice pass.
To Douglas. Dennis Douglas, his 8th point of the second half.
A lot of people may have not seen Quincy play earlier, but Payne, on top of being an outstanding scorer, has shown his passing ability tonight. Outstanding hitting the open man. He sees over everybody so well.
And he's got 11.3 scoring average for the year, Duff does, and he's going to have to score for Lincoln. He's going to have to put the ball in the hole because Payne and Dennis Douglas are really equalizing the underneath men for Lincoln. Outside Wallace from the corner, 40-36, and Lincoln refuses to die, and Quincy refuses to take the heat off. That kid must weigh 225 pounds anyway. Dennis Douglas brings the ball up. Scotty Allen. Back out to the point to Dennis Douglas. Back to Allen. Payne misses. Rebound. No basket. We're going to have a foul. And the foul is on Todd Lorenze. And he saved 2 points. That's kind of like taking a good foul in hockey. It was the right time to foul him. His first foul of the game. We only have 5 fouls on Lincoln in the ball game so far. Well-played basketball game. Inbounds. Duff ever present out front for Lincoln. Douglas in the corner. Back out to Hawkins for Quincy. A lot of defense, Mike. They're all over him. Underneath, Allen. Back out to Hawkins. A free throw. Bam! 42-36. If they hadn't scored and Lincoln would have scored, we'd have had a 2-point ball game. But that's ifs and buts. It's 42-16 to 36 with 1:16 left to play in the third quarter. Down to 110. Duff, Wallace, Werner. Back and forth. Patient. Duff, Werner fakes up. Back out to Wallace. Duff. Looking to shoot. Jump shot off the iron. Long off the iron. Scotty Allen comes off the ball and gives it to Hawkins. We're down under 50 seconds now, and Quincy's got the ball in a 6-point lead.
Jerry, I don't think the Lincoln fans would have believed they'd be behind at the end of the third quarter if they knew they'd have held Mike Payne to 4 points.
Well, they didn't think they'd be behind 18-6 either, you know, and I think they've really done a heck of a job coming back. There's
another
Douglas.
pass.
He's unreal. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 points in the third quarter for Dennis Douglas alone. And in the first half, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 points for his brother Bruce. Bruce has not scored in the second half. Lincoln's going to hold up now and try to cut this thing back to 6 points. It's 44-36, and Lincoln's going to go for one. Let's see if they clear out the side and let Duff go one-on-one. No. Outside to Kendrick, who hits it in the hole, and that's going to end the third quarter with Lincoln 38, Quincy leading the #1 team in the state. Quincy 44, Lincoln 38.
We'll be back after this brief message. We're back. Last quarter of the year for one of these teams, maybe, unless we have overtime. Our statisticians, Bruce Martin and Chris Icalis, just handed us the stats shooting. Quincy, 8 for 11.
8 for 13.
8-13. Lincoln, 8 for 11.
727 for Lincoln.
And didn't make up any ground.
Yeah, they just stayed even. 44-38. And we're going to throw it up for the fourth quarter. And they are up. This Quincy team is getting it together out there. I'll tell you, this Dennis Douglas, he had a career in that third quarter.
He got an awful lot of fine passes from Michael Payne to get some of those shots.
Oh, for sure. Both of these teams. Outstanding defensive ability. Outstanding shooting ability. Very few turnovers. Lincoln had some turnovers in the first quarter, and there's the difference in the ball game. Payne against Werner. Werner out-jumped him 5 inches and took the ball. Duff brings it up for Lincoln. Looking for Lorenze in the corner. Werner working his tail off in the middle, but he's got Payne on him like glue. Now Douglas is on him. They're going to have to score outside. Duff penetrates the top of the key. Passes off, and we got a charging foul on Duff. Pass tossed the ball off and crashed into number 33, Hawkins, and that's Duff's third foul. And it was a good call. Coach Leggett doesn't like it, but hit him right in the chest.
While they're coming down, Jerry, we owe someone here at Eisenhower a world of thanks, and that's Dave Murphy, athletic director, for all the help he's given us during this tournament, or we wouldn't be able to brought any of the games.
Everybody. Marv Schlosser, our halftime guest, all the way down. Payne's got the ball. Get the ball across to a 6'10" kid right across the timeline. Hawkins at the free throw line. Duff's on him tight. Duff cannot play careful with 3 fouls. He's just got to play his basketball game. It doesn't make any difference if he gets 4 or 5. They're not going to win without him. Good block by Wallace, and Duff controls, and he scores. And the foul is on Dennis Douglas, a possible 3-point play. There's 2 fine basketball players playing against each other. 6'4" sophomore Dennis Douglas guarding a kid that they say is 6 foot from Lincoln, Duff. He just doesn't look 6 foot tall to me, but I don't have a ruler. But he sure plays 6 foot tall, and he's quick.
Who he reminds me of build-wise is Mark Aguirre before he lost all the weight. Chubby, except Aguirre's bigger. Chubby, but very, very quick for a big boy.
Well, the older Douglas boy, and I don't remember his name now, was a heck of a player. I can remember Bruce Douglas stuffing the ball in this gymnasium a couple years ago as a freshman. Douglas family must be quite proud. 44-41 Quincy. Dennis Douglas gets the ball to his brother, and he's fouled by number 43, Todd Lorenze. In the second half, that's only the 4th foul on Lincoln, and they're not in the bonus yet. 7:05 left in the ball game. 3-point spread. Number 1, Quincy, 44. Number 2, Lincoln, 41. Jerry, a championship-type basketball game.
You could not squeeze another soul in this gym.
Oh, good Lord, no. Payne from way outside. And there's somebody who's got a whistle in this gymnasium. They just blew it again. I'm not sure the people on the floor can hear it. We can hear it up here. I hope that it doesn't have any effect on the basketball game later. I've seen that happen. Lorenze. Payne from the corner. And he has 6 points in the second half. 6:40 left. 46-43. Lincoln is hanging on to him like a leech. They won't let go. And Quincy hasn't wavered. The older Douglas boy, Bruce Douglas, drives, and he's fouled on the drive. That'll put him in the bonus, and it'll be 1-1. Bruce Douglas, number 25 in the blue. Or was it Scotty Allen? Must have been Scotty Allen. He's standing in the free throw line, going to shoot. No, it's Bruce Douglas. Fooled me. Kid stood there. Allen stood there like he was going to shoot the free throws. Bruce Douglas, 1-1. 6.5 minutes left in the basketball game. It's up and off. Hawkins. That was created by Dennis Douglas, who got the first offensive rebound on that, and Hawkins got the second one and put it in. Now we got Quincy falling on the floor. I'll tell you what, 31. Paul Kendrick for Lincoln is giving it everything he's got down in the throat of this basketball game. There's a foul after the shot on Hawkins. It might be called on the shot. It was close. But the Kendrick kid is just playing his heart out inside. He's playing against that horse, Dennis Douglas, and 6'10" Payne, and he's giving it all he's got. And he's taking up a lot of their time and space too, Mike. He isn't scoring a whole heck of a lot, but he's doing his job. He's got 8 points, and he's earned all 8 of them.
Strong on the boards, but he's done a job at the other end on Payne, too.
Wallace hits the first. 48-44, Quincy. 6:09 left in the basketball game. Wallace, cool as a cucumber, rings it in the hole. Dennis Douglas inbounds the ball to Hawkins, and Hawkins holds it. And Duff is all over the place. He's after that ball. No traveling, no call. We got a 10-second violation, however. They did not get the ball across the timeline in 10 seconds, and Ron Grissom from Greenville, Illinois, calls it. And Ron's been to the state championship. He's a very capable, competent official, as is Hightower. Werner inbounds the ball to Duff. It's Duff, and Lorenze, and Wallace, and Kendrick, and Werner, and they're all playing tough. And the Douglas boys, and Hawkins, and Payne, Scotty Allen. I don't remember any substitutions.
There has not been one substitution for either team yet.
And they're in good shape. Number 1 and number 2 large schools in the state of Illinois, and that is something else. We got a foul. Foul on Lorenze. Good aggressive basketball. It's rough in there, but it's even. It's 6-1, and we have a technical foul on Jerry Liggett, the coach, and he's going to get another one if he doesn't get off the floor. I'm sorry, that's on Lauren Wallace. Jerry Liggett is the Quincy coach. That's a technical foul. That's a 2-shot foul. And now he's bought it. Now he's going to get his say. This is a tough ball game. It's a very emotional ball game. It's a very physical ball game. But it's also being very well officiated. It's even. Off comes the coach. Coach's coat. And he had a light green jacket on. He's got a dark green shirt. The foul shots. First one's missed by
Quincy
Dennis
has
Douglas.
not made a free throw yet tonight, and we're coming down to the last 5 minutes of a possible state championship team right here. That could be a big, big factor.
Payne shoots the
Payne
technicals.
makes one.
There's one. 49-45, 4-point spread. There's two. 50-45, 5-point spread. And the tough part of that is, Mike, that gives the ball right back to Quincy at the midcourt. You want to get a technical foul when the other team's got the ball, or you're not going to get it. So that you don't give up possession of the ball, too. Payne, that was a 4-point play. 2 for the technical, 2 for the field goal. Lorenze to Duff. Wallace, let's see if Lincoln can come back. 5 minutes left in the ball game. Kendrick underneath, forces the shot up and in. High off the iron and down through the net. 52-47. 5 minutes even left in the game now.
Lincoln just won't give up.
No, they won't. A lot of respect for this Dennis Douglas. He plays underneath and brings the ball up the floor, scrambled by Lincoln and taken away. One of the few turnovers are almost the play of the night. Almost the play of the night. He flipped it up in the air to Paul Kendrick, and he just couldn't get a hold of the ball. We've got a pushing foul. I believe that was on 14, Jeff Wallace. Lauren Wallace is again talking to the official. He cannot afford another 2-point technical foul.
Called the foul on Duff. And that's his 5th.
If he called that foul on Duff, I believe that's his 4th foul. It's a little hard for us to tell up here. 52-47 Quincy. Bruce Douglas converts. 53-47 Quincy. 4:39 left in the game. 54-47 and a 7-point spread. Lincoln hung there at 3 for an awful long time, and now it's up to 7. Let's see if they can come back. Number 10.
Todd Bruner.
Todd Bruner is in the ball game, playing at guard for Lincoln. Scrabbling for the ball. Hawkins comes off with the ball. Todd Lorenze is really hustling. They're all hustling. Bruce Hawkins.
Oh, nice pass.
Off to Scott Allen. A bunny. 56-47, and the spread is at 9, and Lincoln's going to have to call timeout, and they do. Lincoln timeout. Quincy 56, Lincoln 47, 4:09 left in the game.
And we'll be back after this brief message. Okay, we're back. 4:09 to go. Quincy has taken a 3-point lead and opened up a 56-47 lead. The big play at the 5:37 mark, a technical foul. Turned to 4. Quincy had the ball, or Lincoln had the ball, lost it. A foul was called a technical, and they pulled off 4 points in a row and have opened up the 9-point lead now.
Well, it's an emotional game. This means a lot to these kids. Of course, it means a lot to the fans, and it means a lot to the coach. And it's tough because these are good teams, both of them, and one of them is just going to have to lose.
Quincy just dropped back from the press. The 9-point lead, 4 minutes to go. They can afford to let them take their time.
Right now, they're in what looks like a 1-3-1 zone. Offside, 56-49. All right, there's a warning. Now, I'll tell you what that is, Mike. Lincoln scored and then touched the ball coming out of the net, which stopped Quincy from getting the ball in play and allowed Lincoln to set up their zone defense, press defense. And the official stopped the play to warn him to leave it alone. Hawkins, he's ganged up on it. He's fouled from behind by Todd Werner. Number 10, Todd Werner, 5'8" junior. Hustling like crazy out there. He's got to play a ton because he's playing for Dan Duff at this time. We can't tell up here. I think Duff's only got 4 fouls. But maybe 5. 3:45 left in the basketball game. 57-49 as Hawkins hits the first of 1 and 1. That's the big one. You don't get the second one if you don't hit the first one.
They've got to hit him because they're going to be getting fouled.
He makes this. It's back again to 9. He misses. Paul Kendrick cleared the ball. Kendrick has played really tough. Werner's played really tough. But they are really up against some horses under there. Wallace. Werner. Almost picked off by Scotty Allen of Quincy. I don't mean to be talking a lot about Lincoln, but they're behind and they're trying to catch up. And they're behind an awfully good #1 rated team in the state. I read in the paper where somebody said they thought it was one of the best teams in recent years, maybe even 10 years. Wallace off the glass, 6 points for Quincy.
They won't give up, though, Jerry. Lincoln just won't give up.
This Werner kid is just all over the place. He's like a spider on water. Payne in the corner. Back to Dennis Douglas. From 8 feet. Off the glass too hard, and Werner clears the ball. Quincy backs off. They fall back into their zone defense. They've taken off the press. We're under 3 minutes, Mike, and it's Quincy 57, Lincoln 51. Lincoln's going to have to score. We've got a foul underneath. Dennis Douglas was holding Kendrick.
That's his 4th foul.
Well, they can't afford to lose him either. He's been a one-man gang, particularly in the third quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 field goals in the second half, most of which I believe were in the third quarter for Dennis Douglas.
That puts Lincoln now in the 1 and bonus also.
Tell you what, Richie Hawkins doesn't get a lot that I've read about, but he's a player. They're all players, but he's a real hustler out there. There's Dennis Douglas with a very important rebound. 57-51, Quincy. And they're not holding the ball. They're going to the hole. Now they look like they might be going into a 4-corner offense. That was close. That was close. It doesn't take much to knock these Lincoln kids off their feet. They try to draw the charge. Good steal. That's going to be on Lincoln. He had the ball, and he just reached out and fouled the kid. Took his arm and elbow and pushed him away. These are the kind of mistakes you can't afford to make against the #1 team in the state. Just a total turnover, player control foul. We're getting some boos from the other side, but I'll guarantee you, Mike, he called it right. Dennis Douglas. Scotty Allen. Werner for Lincoln, the only substitute in the game. Bruce Douglas left hands it, misses it, and Kendrick makes that. Todd Lorenze made a heck of a rebound to Kendrick in the corner. Back Lorenze, up off the glass, around the iron and out. Payne with the rebound. 1:48 left in the game. Still the same 57-51 score that we've had for the last couple of minutes. Big play was the turnover on the offensive foul. That might be an intentional 2-shot foul on Todd Lorenze. 1 and 1.
That's his 4th foul also.
1:39 left. 57-51.
Well, Douglas has been to the line twice and missed them both.
Well, he's due because he hasn't missed very many from the field. He's got 20 points in the ball game. Now he's got 21, and it's a 7-point spread with Quincy. What an intense basketball game. Deservedly so with the #1 and #2 teams in the state. And the experts just might be right. These just very well could be the best 2 high school basketball teams in the state of Illinois. Wallace to Werner. Werner. Great block by Payne. Great timing. He didn't block that because he's 6'10". He blocked that because he got great timing. Duff has obviously fouled out of the ball game, or he'd be in there now. Wallace in the corner. Was not traveling. Werner in the key. Back out to Brunner. Over to Wallace. Somebody's going to have to put it up. Lorenze. Wallace drives the baseline. Flips it off to Werner. He's fouled. He's fouled by 51. Dennis Douglas, and I believe that's his 5th foul. Timeout, Quincy. 59-51. 1-1-1 left in the game. Minute and 11 seconds.
And we'll be back with the last 1:11 after this brief message. Okay, we're back. 1:11 to go. Quincy with an 8-point lead. Just converted at the free throw line. Jerry, the last time down, it took about 15 to 20 seconds for Lincoln to get a shot up. They're 8 points down, 4 baskets. They can't wait that long.
Yeah, they're going to have to put it up. There isn't a kid on this floor tonight. We got Lepper in the ball game now. 6'6". Now we got Tim Hausman in here, 6'6" junior, has replaced Dennis Douglas. There isn't a kid on this floor tonight that hasn't played well, Mike. There isn't a kid on this floor that can go home tonight and feel like he didn't make a contribution to this basketball game. They all played well.
All played well. Both teams. A lot of intensity tonight.
Lincoln's got to have the free throws. 59-51, 1:11 to go. Quincy is awesome. There's no substitute for natural talent, and boy, this blue team is loaded with it, and so is the green team. Quick foul on number 31, Paul Kendrick.
Well, that's what they've got to do.
Yeah, they got to do that, and Quincy's got to miss their free throws, or they're going to have to foul them now because there isn't enough time left. Quincy can hold that ball and get this last minute and 9 seconds over if they don't foul him. So they're going to have to pick out the worst free throw shooter and get to hacking on him.
Well, if Quincy holds on to this lead, no matter who wins this game, Joliet Catholic and Kankakee Westview playing tonight, they're going to have their hands full with the winner of this game.
I hope the winner of this basketball game wins this state tournament. 60-52. It's too bad that this game, as it often happens, doesn't get to be played in the Assembly Hall on the final night. Werner to Wallace. They're going to have to get it up. In the middle. Turnaround pop. Bang. 61-54. Back to a 7-point spread. 55 seconds left in the game. Payne to Hausman to Hawkins. They've got 3 seconds to get it over the line, and they get it over just on time.
Good foul. Good foul by 31.
You betcha. Paul Kendrick. His third foul in the second half.
You see Payne standing there waiting for that ball. He was going to slam that one down.
Bruce Douglas is going to be on the line shooting 1 and 1. 44 seconds to go, 61-54 Quincy. The pollsters so far have been right, but this isn't over yet. Quincy missed an offensive rebound on a missed free throw. They're going to have timeout Quincy now. Timeout Quincy. 1 free throw left on the 1 and 1. 62-54 Quincy. 44 seconds left.
And we'll be back after this brief message. Well, we're back. 44 seconds to go. Quincy at the free throw line.
Bruce Douglas is on the line. He's got 1 shot left. He's 3 for 4 from the line tonight. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 field goals. The Douglas boys between them have got 22, 34, 37 points out of the 62. He converts 63-54, staying right at 7. You notice when the spread went from 3 to 7, how it stayed there? Good defense. In the middle. Turnaround jump shot.
You got to give Lincoln credit, Jerry. They will not quit.
Timeout Lincoln. Kendrick played real well in the second half. 8 points on 4 field goals.
Okay.
Well, I tell you, this thing just leaves you breathless.
Okay, folks, we'll be back with the final 31 seconds after this message. Okay, we're back. We'd like to remind you folks in Quincy and Lincoln that production facilities have been provided by General Electric Cablevision, Decatur, Illinois. Jerry, this is the game we wanted to do for the last 2-3 weeks. It's every bit as good as we thought it'd be. Unfortunately, somebody's got to lose.
Yeah, Lincoln was real close to him. They got to foul him him pretty soon here. If they can catch him, they got him. He went for the ball pretty good, but I'm sure that we're in the 1-1. 25 seconds left, 63 to 56. And that's Lorenze's 5th foul, and he got them all in the second half, and he got them because he played good, aggressive defense. And I'll tell you what, when the Duff kid fouled out, Lorenze went after him. He felt like a lot of it fell on him, and he went after him. He gave it all. Right now, I don't think he could take one lap. Kid has really played well. 12 points in the game, but that doesn't tell the story. Airballed it.
Well, this ball game isn't over yet, Jerry. They convert here real quick. It's not over yet. 25 seconds to go.
He's smiling coming down the floor, but he's crying inside. 63-56. Werner. And he almost stole it. And if he'd have stole that thing, he'd have slammed her at the other end. Lincoln's got to score quick and get somebody on the free throw line for Quincy, and they've got to miss. Werner. Number 21, Ty Miller's in the game now.
That's the ball game right there.
He picked it off. They're going to have to foul him, and they did. Now we got a 2-shot foul with 13 seconds to go. Bruce Douglas is going to be on the line. 63-56. Quincy with 2 shots and intentional foul. Lincoln's been walking that borderline between the intentional foul and the 1-and-1 foul. And now for the first time tonight, Scotty Allen held up number 1. That's the first time I've seen number 1 go up anywhere in these stands. And that shows you the respect the Quincy people had for the Lincoln team. Because they didn't say we're number 1 until there was 13 seconds left in this game. And right now, unless we have a miracle, they are number 1 going into the Assembly Hall.
Lincoln.
Or where do they play next?
Normal.
Normal? They'll be in the Assembly Hall. They're a great basketball team. Werner. Hawkins is fouled. He's fouled by number 10, Todd Werner. 5'8" junior who did his job. They won't quit. Now Coach Lauren Wallace is going to let some of these kids get into the state tournament. Number 20, number 33.
Program. They've got it.
Help me out on who's
now, both coaches are emptying their bench right now. 4 seconds to go, and the chant from the Quincy fans, we're number 1. And there's no doubt in my mind that they are number 1 in the state of Illinois. They were devastating Wednesday night. Tonight they played a strong Lincoln team. Michael Payne was held to just 10 points so far, half his average, and they're still going to win by 8 or 10 points.
Well, we've got so many substitutions we can't get them in here now. So we got Kaufman, Leffer, Hoffman in the ball game. Everybody's in the ball game for the last 4 seconds. 64-58. Hawkins comes up short. Werner from the midcourt line, off the glass. The final score, number 1 rated Quincy, 64. Number 2 ranked, and deservedly so, Lincoln, 58. As we said before, Mike, a shame that somebody has to lose, but that's what basketball's all about. Lincoln had a great year.
Okay, folks, we'll take a break right here, do our stats, and be back with the final wrap-up right after this message. Back where number 1 Quincy has just received a trophy for the sectional tournament. Their fans are standing and cheering, holding up number 1. They have every reason to do that because they are number 1.
Well, they shot 63% in the 4th quarter when Lincoln was after them like a junkyard dog. They were on them like a cold sweat, and they didn't get off of them, and they shot 63% to win.
Well, that's
Lincoln
6
shot 54% for the whole ball game and lost.
The first quarter was 12-6. The final score was a 6-point spread held up right down the line.
It took Lincoln a little while to get on track. It not only was 12-6 in the first quarter, I think it became 16-6 or 18-6 before Lincoln got it back in gear and got off that 6. They were stuck on it a long time. From about the middle of the first quarter on, Lincoln actually outscored Quincy. But the final is on the board, and that's 64-58. And the number 1s are up all over the gymnasium. And as I said before, I hope they win the state tournament.
I think they have a real good shot at it. From all the indications, the coaches and things that I've talked to, they all say that Quincy is just awesome.
Well,
it's going to take a super team to beat them. An outstanding team in Lincoln tonight, gave it all they had to try and came up a little short. They end the season 28-1, Big 12 conference champs, and nothing at all to be ashamed of.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, when a kid like Michael Payne, who's highly recruited, who's going to go to the University of Iowa, he's got the net around his neck right now, when a 6'10" kid that's the leader of your ball club gets 10 points, and a couple of brothers like the Douglas boys pick up 22 and 17, hey, you've got a fine basketball team. And as I said before, Richie Hawkins, he plays kind of quiet out there. You don't have noticed him much, but he wound up with 11 points, a whole bunch of assists. Scotty Allen does his job. He handles the ball out there. He's the glue that puts them together. They're a fine basketball team.
Okay, they're presenting the trophy right now. Let's listen while they do that. Okay, we can't pick it up, but you can see it on your picture. Marv Slicer just said we're presenting the trophy to probably the finest team in the state of Illinois right now. That's why I agree 100%. Well, let's run down Lincoln real quick while we got a chance. As usual, very balanced scoring. Dan Duff, 9. Jeff Wallace, 10. Stan Werner, 11. Paul Kendrick, 14. Todd Lorenze, 12. For you Lincoln fans watching, you have nothing to be ashamed of. You got a fine team, a fine year. Unfortunately, you had to run into Quincy.
There's the championship trophy. And they earned it. They won the basketball game.
There's the trophy on your screen. They're very, very happy crowd right
Lincoln
now.
didn't lose this game. Quincy won it. This is one game where the kids on the floor and the coaches on the bench were the whole story. The officiating had no bearing on the basketball game. The crowd was equally spirited on both sides in the gymnasium. It's too bad we couldn't have had this in a bigger gym, but that's the way it is, and that's what we had to do. If Milliken had a conflict, we'd have been at Milliken, because I know Merle Chaplin would have had us out there.
Okay, folks, we'll be right back with the final wrap-up right after this message. Okay, folks, we're back. Going to wrap it up real quick here. We'd like to remind you folks that this production has been provided by General Electric Cable Vision, Decatur, Illinois. The camera operators tonight have been Dave Beck. Jim Dugan has been a director. Chris Rollins has been a producer. Our statisticians were Chris Eichhaus and Bruce Martin. I'm Mike Weaver, and together with Jerry Manns, we have thoroughly enjoyed bringing you this game. So from Eisenhower,
a real husky young man, that Douglas carrying that
they all
trophy off
are.
the floor.
So from Eisenhower High School, the 1981 sectional winner for Decatur was Quincy at 64-58. For Channel 4 in Decatur, this is Mike Weaver, along with Jerry Manns. Wish you a good night, and for you Quincy fans, best of luck the rest of the way.